You've seen this, AI making art, writing essays, answering questions. Some people feel excited, others uneasy. Maybe you've wondered, if machines can think, what does that mean for the human mind? We've been told for decades that the brain is a meat machine, basically a computer made of flesh. And if that's true, maybe machines really will surpass us. But what if that story is wrong? What if your mind works nothing like a computer and everything like a living, breathing forest? This whole brain as a computer idea didn't come out of nowhere. It started in the 1940s and 50s when the first computers were being built. Alan Turing, a mathematician who helped crack Nazi codes, and later philosophers like Jerry Fodor, used the metaphor of the mind as a machine: input, process, output. It was powerful at the time because comparing the brain to a computer helped scientists build early theories. But metaphors can really trap us. If your brain really was a computer, you'd crash every time you forgot where your keys were at. You'd never surprise yourself with a new idea. And if we were nothing but machines, then of course machines would eventually beat us. But modern neuroscience shows that that's not how your brain works. Picture yourself walking through a forest. Above ground, trees. Below, hidden roots and threads of fungi weaving everything together. That's a better picture of your brain than a motherboard. Inside your head are about 86 billion neurons. That number comes from Brazilian neuroscientist Susana Herculano Rosel, I hope I said that right, who literally dissolved brains in a lab to count the cells. Yeah. And those neurons branch out like trees, reaching out to connect with others. Scientists estimate they make about 100 trillion connections. That's more than the stars in our galaxy. That's not a static circuit board. It's a living, changing ecosystem. Human learning isn't like installing software. It's more like new trails forming in a forest, where some paths get grown over and lost. Others strengthen as you keep walking them. That's why large projects like the Human Connectome Project to map the brain, they don't talk about it as a single program. They use tools from ecology and network science, the same ones used to map forests and cities. And just like forests, where fungi can share nutrients between trees, your neurons exchange signals across a vast, vast web. Forestry professor Suzanne Simard from the University of British Columbia showed how trees can send carbon and signals underground. Now, some scientists debate how much is true actual communication, but everyone agrees that forests thrive as networks, and so does your brain. And here's the amazing part. Damage a forest, and it regrows around the wound. Damage your brain, and very often it can reroute too. That's called neuroplasticity. In 2011, network scientist Bassett and colleagues published a study in PNAS showing how the human brain reorganizes itself while people learn. Whole networks shifted and reconnected in real time. This is why stroke patients can sometimes regain speech or movement. The forest inside their brain adapts. And creativity, it doesn't come from running a program. Complexity scientist Stuart Kaufman described how order and novelty can emerge from networks without a blueprint. That's what your ideas are like. At a physical level, they are emergence from billions of tiny interactions. Even gut feelings fit this pattern. Psychologist Gerd Gigerenzer, who wrote Gut Feelings, calls them fast and fugal heuristics. They're shortcuts your body and brain use to make good decisions quickly, to avoid clumsy mistakes. They're embodied intelligence. Now, compare that to AI. AI is built on the computer metaphor. It processes data fast, efficient, powerful. But your brain isn't just data. It's embodied. It's rooted in your senses, your emotions, your lived story, and the parts of you that you know exist but can't be seen or touched. And yes, engineers are developing embodied AI, which are robots that can move and sense the world. But no machine has shown any sign of subjective experience. Psychiatrist Guelio Tononi's integrated information theory suggests consciousness arises from networks with rich integrated connections. Then there's neuroscientist Carl Friston's free energy principle, which frames the brain as a system constantly predicting and adjusting to the world. Then there's philosopher David Chalmers, who famously called it the hard problem of consciousness. He uses that to try and explain why all this activity in our minds actually feels like something. Then other scientists say that all machines were designed by a mind, which suggests that humans were also designed by a greater intelligence. Whichever theory you choose, there's no evidence that any AI system has it. And that means you and your human brain are not competing on the same playing field with computers and AI. So next time you're walking outside, maybe through some trees, or even better, through a forest, remember, that's how your mind works. It's alive, interconnected, and constantly reshaping itself. You're a living ecosystem, and that makes you irreplaceable. Here's the real question. If you treated your mind like a forest, not a computer, what would you nurture? Which paths would you let grow? Which ones would you walk on and make stronger? Put your comments below so we can chat. And for more science-backed wonder, hit subscribe and then click this next video, because you are awesome and you're more than you've been told.